Why did Dave Filoni choose to change Ahsoka Tano's lightsabers color from green to blue in Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7? Surely there's a reason for it, as Ahsoka is his favorite Star Wars character, and as commenter Medieval Man 9 suggested, he's a very details-orientated guy. There is simply no way this was a mistake, and surely it has some sort of purpose. But first, let's just quickly touch on the history of Ahsoka's sabers. In the beginning, starting in Season 1 up till Season 5, Ahsoka had 2 green lightsabers. It depends on who you talk to. Some say that the second one was a little more yellow than green. Now in Season 5, we all know that Ahsoka leaves the Jedi Order, and those lightsabers are left behind for Anakin. And thanks to the Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7 trailer, we see that they make a return as Ahsoka heads back to Mandalore. They are given to her as a gift from Anakin, and they now have blue lightsaber blades. Now in the Ahsoka novel, we do know that they were buried in a fake grave with Rex. This was after Order 66 and was supposed to signify that Ahsoka was killed by Rex. Also from the Ahsoka novel, we know that Ahsoka captures an Inquisitor's lightsabers and then purifies the red from them so that she's left with the white lightsabers that we see in Star Wars Rebels. So moving on here, I want to take a quick look at the possible symbolism of the different colors. Now the first thing that jumps out to me is that green is often associated with newbies or rookies, and that's exactly what Ahsoka is when she is a Padawan under Anakin Skywalker. She's new to the Jedi Order, she's a Padawan, she's just learning, and she's got a lot to learn. Contrast this with the fact that Ahsoka is a mature Force user in Star Wars Rebels, and she has those white lightsabers. We know that she has that famous line where she says, "I am no Jedi." So in Rebels, and with those white blades, I believe there's a certain amount of symbolism showing us that she is pure. She has moved on from the Jedi ways, and she's a Force user, listening to the Force, not just following the ways of the Jedi. So what exactly does the blue stand for then? Well, if you look at lightsaber breakdowns by color, blue is supposed to mean a stronger physical force. So it could mean that she's matured as a warrior and she is a stronger physical force now on the battlefield. But blue is also the color of trust. And I think in Anakin giving her back her lightsabers, that shows a certain amount of trust that he has in Ahsoka. And this is also reflected in the clone troopers' painted armor. They trust Ahsoka even though she is no longer a Jedi. They trust her to lead them into battle despite all of that. And of course that trust comes with not the title of being a Jedi, but the fact that she has done so much with them and for them in the past. And certainly stepping back now and looking at all 3 colors, we can see sort of a progression in Ahsoka. These 3 different stages in the character development. The green is the Padawan, the blue she's maybe moving into the Jedi Knight, and then the white lightsabers basically mean that she's moved beyond that and she's become something even more. And just like in life, it takes time to progress through these different stages. Ahsoka goes through a lot of different hardships at these different stages, and it's only through sheer determination that she becomes that ultimate Force user that we see in Star Wars Rebels. But moving on here, I've been asking you guys questions of the day on the community tab for the channel, and you guys have been coming up with some great answers to those questions, and I put it to you, the community. Why did Dave Filoni choose to change Ahsoka Tano's lightsaber color to blue for Season 7? And first up here we have Super Triton. He says, to symbolize her growth into someone more like a Jedi Knight, even though she is not a Jedi. And yeah, that's exactly what I was suggesting too, Super Triton. It's to show progression in that she has changed. But let's move on to Frederick H. David, and he states, Anakin probably decided to replace the kyber crystals in Ahsoka's lightsabers when he found and repaired them to make them blue, hinting when he said they're good as new, maybe a little better. Yeah, Frederick, that was in the trailer. I mentioned that earlier, but I didn't mention his words, so thank you for bringing that up. I like the fact that they're a gift to Ahsoka. Let's move on now to Riderless Nut, and he suggests, I'm not sure if there's any deep meaning behind it, but when I first saw it in the trailer, I thought the color change was meant to pay homage to Luke's color change from Empire to Return of the Jedi, but the other way around, green to blue instead of blue to green. Because at the end of Empire, Luke is at his lowest point, and in Return of the Jedi, Luke is rising from that and becoming the best person he could be. Last time we saw Ahsoka, she was at her lowest point, betrayed by the Jedi and the people she trusted, lost and not sure where to go. And now, in this final season, Ahsoka in a way has returned to the Jedi, her rising and overcoming that to be a confident warrior of the Force who travels the galaxy and protects people, to become the confident, balanced person we see in Rebels, and the lightsaber color symbolizes that. At least, that's what I took from it. And Riderless Nut, I think that's a fantastic idea. This idea of transition is sort of what I was getting at, but I really liked how you went back to Luke's color transition and compared that here to Ahsoka's. That really seems like something that Dave Filoni would say or think about, so thanks a lot for sharing those thoughts with the community. Turklin TV left a brief comment saying, Dave Filoni changed the colors because he can. Not everything has to have a deeper meaning. And yeah, it certainly doesn't, but I think when it comes to Dave Filoni, something like this with a character that he absolutely loves, there has to be some sort of meaning behind that. And maybe I am looking a little too close and I'm going a little too deep with this, but it's a topic that I find interesting. So up next here we have Ak the War Eagle, and he states, my reason being dense blue was the most common, since most Padawans had blue and later developed green. They just had a bunch of spare blues around and were like, here you go. Yeah, so that definitely makes sense in the way that perhaps blue kyber crystals were in abundance and it was easy for Anakin to track them down. But hey Star Wars fans, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Is there some sort of deep meaning to all of this color change? Or are some of us looking a little too deep into all this? Thanks for everybody who commented on the community tab. I'm sorry I wasn't able to include everybody's thoughts. That said, remember I'm Mike and I want to take the time to say thanks for watching and may the Force be with you.